Alex here with a high conflict child custody video on when do they stop. I have to really think about this because it comes from a question that a viewer posted some time ago. I wanted to do this video on Monday, and I just didn't have time. It has to do with, I think the question was something along the lines of how much money do they have to spend slash how many lawyers do they have to go through. I don't think that that is actually where or the approach that most high conflict child custody parents take. I don't. Probably, in my opinion, based on my observations and my own case, the parents who have the money that are the high conflict child custody parent are in the minority. And it may not even be them that is, they may not even be spending their own money. Probably more likely they're spending somebody else's money. They're getting money from people who they've duped, especially if it's their own family, especially if it's their parents or grandparents. And if it's sincerely a high conflict child custody parent and they're obsessed with the conflict, then when they run out of the money, they'll just continue to litigate. Now, even that isn't, in my opinion, really where most of the conflict is. There's this idea that there are these evil rich people that are high conflict child custody parents, and that they exercise or the conflict manifests in court filings. I do think that that is a possibility. As I mentioned when the video started, I do think that they're in the minority. But I think that, again, based on my observations, most of the high conflict child custody or most of the high conflict parents cause conflict to occur outside of the boundaries of the court system, not inside of the boundaries of the court system. I just thought of somebody else, a viewer from the beginning of the channel. His name is James. His ex doesn't file anything. She just withholds a child, breaks the orders, ruins his vacations, and then he has to go to court and file stuff. To me, that is the most common form of high conflict child custody. That high conflict parent being the parent who is creating all sorts of conflict by not following court orders, by messing around outside of the boundaries of the court system, perhaps with denial of access to medical care and stuff like that. And the protective parent that's trying to fix the situation, solve the problem, is the one that's filing stuff. I mentioned that this is the majority, in my opinion, of high conflict child custody cases, but I can also think of another 4 litigants that are causing the conflict through the court system. And all of them are representing themselves. They have no attorney. So in that situation, money isn't an issue either. They may have had an attorney at some point. I'm thinking about it. One of them did. But no, I can think of another one. Eventually, they ran out of attorneys and they're still filing stuff. So, yes, sometimes it's the person that's filing. Sometimes it's the person that has money. But as I've mentioned in the video, 3 Phases of Conflict and High Conflict Incompetence, 2 separate videos, the issue is an obsession with the conflict, and the obsession does not end when the money runs out, nor when the attorneys stop representing them. There may be some extraordinarily rare cases where, say, perhaps the person just has some fundamental inability to litigate. Maybe they can't speak English or something like that, where the conflict ends in the courtroom, but I would imagine they would just continue the conflict outside the courtroom. So, the question was asked, and a lot of people are probably thinking this, Alex, help us. We're trying to stop. We're trying to stop this. And I get that that's a thought that some people have. Okay, maybe they'll run out of money or they'll run out of lawyers and then they'll stop. But it doesn't stop it. And for those of you who are probably in the majority that are thinking, yes, Alex, you're right. The high conflict is happening outside the boundaries of the court system. These are all the crazy things they're doing outside of court without filing anything that's causing conflict. How do you help us, sort of get them to stop? I don't think that they would stop unless they were forced to. And in my case, that happened through the curtailing of parental rights over and over again, up to and including the termination of parental rights. This is not a good response for people because courts are extraordinarily resistant, for good reason, to terminating somebody's parental rights. And there may even be some cases where you TPR someone and they still find ways to cause conflict. So really, the truth is, in my very honest opinion, that it is not going to stop until they feel absolutely 100% certain that anything that they do will blow up in their face. If they feel that any route they take is definitely going to cause them incarceration, fines, and other problems with their life to the point where they won't be able to survive in their actual situation, whatever situation they're in, then I feel they would stop. And it's really, it sucks because I think a lot of you didn't want to have to deal with somebody who made their entire life's goal causing conflict in your life. Most of you, probably 99% of you, want to move on. Maybe get a degree, start a new career, just go back to your old career, meet people, go out, have fun. You're not thinking, yay, let's go to court for the next 50 years. Or I guess, I was going to say till your child turns 18, but the conflict continues often in those cases well beyond the child turning 18. I talk about that in the video, parental alienation. A lot of people think that their issues will end when their child turns 18 because then their child can go spend time with them, and it usually doesn't. So that's the truth, guys. This is just another one of those videos that I hope doesn't come off cynical, that is not a good answer, but it's the truth. It's the ugly truth, is that you're dealing with somebody who's obsessed, and they turn this into their entire life's purpose. And while you're out there trying to figure out how to do other things with your life, this is the only thing they're focusing on doing with their life. This is it, the beginning and the end. I guess the last thing I can mention, and I've talked about this a little bit before, is sometimes they'll distract themselves with other issues, other things for a little while, but it's always temporary. Usually it manifests in the form of a new boyfriend, girlfriend. They get a new partner. They're not as bad for a little while, but inevitably they end up going back to what they were doing before. And it's not like the conflict goes away completely. It's still there. Sometimes they even pull their new partner into it. So, tough video, guys. I've done these before. I hate doing them. I like videos that they give you some kind of idea as to a solution. And I guess there is sort of a sliver of solution here, but I doubt that you guys are thinking you want to just completely and totally annihilate them. To lead them to the conclusion that they have no choice whatsoever, and that any efforts they undertake will lead to some kind of serious consequences, for sure. Because if it's just a maybe, they'll probably keep trying. It has to be in their mind, if I do this, I will for sure suffer this consequence, and I don't want that to happen. When they get to that point, then they stop. That's when my ex stopped. Yeah, guys, again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.